So how many times has this happened to you? You're giving somebody a tarot card reading and they're trying to force you to help them make a decision, right? They want you to tell them what they should do around a particular problem or issue that they're having. This is a really tricky situation to be in because sometimes people get really pushy, right? And it's very uncomfortable, and you kind of don't know what to do. So for me, when this happens, I always let people know, usually up front at the beginning of the reading, I'm not here to decide anything for you about your life. I can tell you if you're trying to make a decision between two different things, like what happens if you go this way and what happens if you go this way, and then you can make the best choice for you according to what the cards are energetically showing you. But I think sometimes too, people look at tarot readers as like a therapist or a friend, and sometimes we are along those lines for them. But the one thing is that I really don't like to make decisions for people, no matter how bad they bully me or no matter how bad they try to push me around. Because my opinion is that I don't know your life. I don't have to sit in it every day. I might get some insight or some intuition based off of the reading that we do, but I don't think it's my job to decide what's best for you. That's your job. I can help you do that, but I'm not going to do it for you. The other reason you want to be really careful with telling people what to do in readings is because sometimes you might tell somebody something that they don't want to hear or that they don't want to do. I, for example, have had several people come up to me and say, oh, well, this reader said that I should break up with my boyfriend. And it's like, well, you know, you can tell somebody that their boyfriend's not a good dude, but you shouldn't be like, you need to break up with him. You know, I don't think that's a good way to go. We all have to make our own decisions in our own time, and maybe that person just wants to date somebody that's horrible for them for whatever reason. That's not your business, right? So I think it's really not good to make decisions. Sometimes you might say, hey, you should break up with this person, and then they get mad because they don't want to, and then all of a sudden you're the bad guy and your clients aren't coming back to you, right? You need to be really fair and impartial and really try to hold space for people when you're doing readings, and making decisions for them for their life that they have to live in is really not your job. But your job is to give them some insight and some understanding as to what's happening in front of them, why that's happening, and try to help them make the best decision for themselves that they possibly can. Now, another reason that you do not want to make decisions for somebody, especially if they're major ones, is because if you tell them to do something and they do the wrong thing, especially if it's something, you know, like buying a house or financial related or relationship related, and something happens that they don't like or something goes wrong, it is going to be your fault because you told them to go and do that, right? So that's another reason too, you want to kind of cover your bases and you want to kind of cover your butt and make sure that you don't give anybody any bad advice, right? It's very important to try to remain as neutral as possible when you're doing readings. And if somebody is asking you a question about something major, my thing is I'm not going to say, yes, do that or don't do that. But, you know, I will kind of try to warn them as much as I can if I see something I think that is not good. Because sometimes to people, they don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? They don't want to listen to you. They're going to do what they want to do, no matter what you say. So the best thing you can do is to give them as much information as possible, and then they can listen to you or not listen to you, right? Without actually saying like, do this or do that, right? So if it's a bad situation they shouldn't get involved in, you know, you can let them know like, hey, this doesn't look good, or I'm seeing things not really turning out very well for you, or be really careful here. You know, whatever you have to say in kind of a general neutral way to let them know what's happening without making the decision for them. And then it's up to them if they want to go through that or not. So those are some of the most important things that you should know when somebody does this to you or you have this sort of confrontation in a reading, because at the time it kind of leaves you like a little deer in the headlights and you're not sure what to do, especially if the person is really wanting an answer. It's very important to be firm and stand your ground because it's really your integrity on the line, and that's the most important thing that you have as a tarot reader. People are not going to come back to you if they can't trust you or if you're wishy-washy all over the place. You have to be super honest about what you see and super truthful, and sometimes if you see something and you don't know, it's okay to say that. Be like, this card is really confusing. I'm not sure which way it's going. You know, the clarifying cards aren't really helping me make much sense. Maybe you're just not supposed to know about this particular thing, right? So always be very honest because you don't want to give anybody any misinformation. It's very, very important. So hopefully this was helpful, and if the situation comes up for you, you'll know what to do next time, and hopefully you will make the best choice for yourself and your client as a reader. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have an absolutely beautiful day.